It is Monday, which means it is Mindset Monday, which is the most important day on this channel. Yes, the tool tips, the things showing behind the scenes, showing the AI, showing the business system, showing how to do things that make you money from the external is nice. But I will tell you that it's not until you change what is in your heart, your head, your gut, and it's not even really changing. It's being able to listen, being able to enjoy, being able to trust yourself that you're going to be able to use any system, any external system, strategy, tactic, tool in a way that is going to bring you joy, peace, happiness, fulfillment, and so on. And so for this channel, Monday is the most important day. It's the start of the week. It's the way we can change our mind and we get our mind straight for the rest of the week. And when we get our mind straight, we get our body straight, and we are able to do some pretty amazing things. This Mindset Monday today is the movie that is playing inside your head 24/7 is the only reality. But before we get into that, my name is Dean Soto. I'm the president and founder of Prosulum, PROSULUM.com. And we are a virtual staffing agency that you can hire what would typically be called a virtual assistant, a real life human being at a fraction of the cost it would cost to hire someone in the States or in the western part of Europe or New Zealand or Australia or Canada. And not only do they do the task, what they do is they will document what they've done, because we call them virtual systems architects. They're VSAs. They're virtual assistants with superpowers. They'll document what you showed them, and then they'll do the task. Whereas a virtual assistant, a regular person, is just going to say, hey, boss, what can I do? What do you want me to do? You say, hey, I need you to do this, 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 this. They say, okay, I'll go do it. And then they'll come back to you and say, wait, so how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? Wait, can you show me this? Oh, can you show me? And you spend more time training them than them actually doing the task. So you learn to, you put out fires all the time. Whereas with the virtual systems architect, they say, hey, boss, what do you need? You show them, okay, sounds good. They create a step-by-step checklist, and then they do that checklist. They boom, 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 boom every time. Every task you give them is a new standard operating procedure, a new checklist that they develop. And so after you've shown them 30 tasks, let's say you showed them 5 tasks, 10 tasks, 25, 30, 50 different tasks. Each one of those is documented, and you never have to do it again. You never have to train them again. And you can give that to your grandma, and your grandma can do it. That's how good these things are. These documents are. You can give them to your son, your daughter. You can give them to your spouse. You can give them to a new worker, and they can look at it and go, oh, that's how you do it? Okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Okay, cool. That's how awesome a virtual systems architect is, because they take the tasks that you give them, document it, and then they do it without fail all the time. And we have clients who've been with us for over 5 years who just absolutely love their virtual systems architects. So all that being said, let's get into Mindset Monday. So the movie that is playing inside of your head at all times is the only reality. You are determined to do the things that you think about. You are determined to do the things that you feel. You are determined to do the things that you believe. This is why in the Bible it says that St. Paul says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." Okay. you got to put away, he even says, you got to put away the old man and put on the new man. Because your mind is the most important thing that you need to focus on when it comes to success. I started my business in 2009. And it wasn't until shedding layer after layer after layer after layer that I ever felt comfortable taking on certain roles within my business, to include being the leader of my business. You'll hear a lot of successful business owners say that they had imposter syndrome for a long time. And I used to think that was solved by accomplishing things. That was solved by making more money. Making 6 figures when I first started out was like the goal, and then 7 figures, and so on and so forth. But the external successes never brought about this change of ever feeling like I was no longer the imposter. I would have this sense that I got lucky. I stumbled my way to success because I all I did was I kept on trying and doing. And to an extent, that's true. I was just trying and doing and failing and getting back up. But as I got more and more successful, the thing that would constantly come back to me is, one, that I stumbled through all of this to get to where I am. And 2, that I needed somebody else to wear the crown. I needed somebody else to be the head of the ship. I liked building systems, and I liked doing the back end stuff, and I liked doing the strategic stuff in the background, and being the guy over here while this guy can be the face and the visionary. And a lot of my team would be thinking, wait, really? We saw you as the visionary. Well, I put on a good show, but internally, I was a mess when it came to leading, when it came to embodying the role of visionary, the role of creator, the role of being the one who is steering the ship. There were shadows, or there were foreshadowings, or there were little glimpses of just how powerful this actually was, and this actually was. And for those who are just listening, I'm pointing to my head, my heart, my gut, and all the other parts of your body, which all have a memory, which all have a way of thinking, which all tell you something. And more and more science is showing that you have multiple different types of brains within your system, within your body, your gut brain, your heart, your head, and these all give you some sort of path forward. So with all of that context, I'm going to take this off. I don't even need this on. I don't need to hear my voice. With all of this context ahead of time, what changed the game and what allowed me to step into the role of power, into the role of authority, the role of being the captain and the one steering the ship, and being able to invite those people who were able to have a win-win situation where I won and they won was to start learning how to imagine myself in a specific way where something has already been accomplished, and to do physical exercises or physical things that would allow the rest of my body to also feel that. So my mind could imagine a certain thing, but perhaps my body would get the butterflies, or my body would not really even allow the feeling to happen. And so one of the glimpses that happened, and I tell this story a lot, but one of the glimpses that happened was in my old house from like 8 years ago. I had imagined, I was laying on the hard office floor. I had been doing the Wim Hof style breath work where you're going, and I still do that. I since had moved to what's called holotropic, which I didn't realize that's what it actually was. And I had an experience that just was insane. That changed a lot. But I was doing the Wim Hof. I actually had bought his course a long time ago. I'm not recommending it. I'm not saying this is what you should do or whatever, but I'm just telling you this was one of the foreshadowings that happened. I had just finished doing that, and I'm on the floor. And if you've ever done Wim Hof type style breath work, sometimes you'll even kind of go into a little bit of a trance type thing. Okay. I don't think I went into a trance or whatever, but I just remember imagining myself logging into Samcart, seeing how much per month I was making, and it was a lot, and imagining myself just like as if it was a normal day. It was just normal. And I had done that a couple of different times, and then I forgot about it. Well, a few years later, I logged into Samcart. I was in my new house, which was also one of the things I had imagined, and that's a different story, which I've shared before. And I log into Samcart, and I saw what I was making per month. At the time, it was when I first imagined it back years prior, there was no way. I'm sitting there now. This was probably 2020, maybe 2021. Looking at the revenue that was coming in, and it hit me. It was the exact number I had imagined from years back. I had a lot of social anxiety. A lot of my friends would not believe it, but when I would talk to people, I would have knots and butterflies in my stomach. Depending on who I was talking to, I would even shake. And I had to start imagining myself talking to whoever I wanted in the first person. What would it feel like? What would it be like to be confident? What would it be like to be able to stand next to anybody? It didn't matter what they looked like. It didn't matter who they were. It didn't matter if they were threatening. It didn't matter if they were whatever. Man, woman, to be able to be 100% comfortable in my own skin, to be 100% confident that I would be fine whether or not they liked me, whether or not they thought well of me. What would it be like to be that powerful? To walk into a room and people, their heads turn. Not because I'm so good looking or anything like that, but my energy would cause that. To walk into a store and be welcomed with open arms, like literally. And I would imagine myself doing that as I fell asleep. I would imagine what it would be like to sit in a confident position, a very masculine position, to stand with my arms at my side, which was so hard to not put my hands in my pocket, not put my cross my hands, not cross my arms like this, not put my hands behind my back, not fidget, not pull my phone out and go like this. To be able to stand there and simply just be in front of anybody. It could be President Trump. It could be somebody asking me for money on the street. Imagining that feeling, and through what Neville Goddard calls a bridge of incidents, that became a reality. Now, was it overnight? No, not for me. Could it be overnight? Yeah, it totally could be. But the desire led me to imagining at night, which then hit my subconscious mind. And then gave me this burning need to start doing things that would eventually lead me to where I am now. And that is pure confidence. I can walk into a lot of the different stores that are around me, and literally people will welcome me with open arms because they know who I am. I know who they are. Getting hugs from my bros over at Sprouts because they know who I am. And then seeing them at the gym and going to the gym and half the gym knows who I am. Or, it's not a like, oh, look at me, this is so, like, I'm so awesome. No, it's just because I wanted to be comfortable everywhere I wanted to be. That was my desire, to be comfortable and to be seen. In fact, just to be seen. Let's just say that, just to be seen. Because for men, not so much for women, but for men, it's very hard to be seen. For women, it's hard to be seen other than just on the surface, like beauty. That's a different, that tends to be a different struggle because for men and women to see a woman for who they truly are, very, very, very difficult. Men, it's a little bit different where it's hard to just be seen in general. I'll go into that at another time. And that bled into how my business would operate and how I would operate with my team and how I would operate with my clients. If you haven't read Neville Goddard, I highly recommend Feeling is the Secret. My favorite book from him is The Power of Awareness. But Feeling is a Secret. It's very short. They have a ton of free audiobooks versions on YouTube. Joseph Murphy, Dr. Joseph Murphy, his stuff is fantastic. It's all about hitting your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind can do miraculous things. If you are a fan of the Bible, the kingdom of God is within you. Christ is within you. You are the temple of the living God. These are all New Testament sayings, parts of Scripture. And that same power, that same God can do all things. And so that same God works through you to do all things. And I have tons of success stories, tons of different things that have happened simply by imagining them, especially at night as I was going to bed, because that's when it hits your subconscious the most, and you'll see it actually happen in real life. And so my point in all of this, and what I'll give you actionable tips, like at the very end, because we're wrapping up. Point in all of this is work internally first. The more that you change internally, the more peace, love, joy, happiness, bliss, fulfillment, as Joseph Rodriguez says. He's another one he's an entrepreneur, and he teaches a lot of this stuff as well. The more that you work on that internal first and let it flow out, the more that you're going to see that it's not about waking up early and getting out there and running, although it could be. If that's what you're meant to do, it's not it's not the be all for everyone. Okay, I used to be very opinionated, and it had to be a certain way. But the more that I work on my internal world, I start to see that God made everyone very, very, very different. I used to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. At times I used to do polyphasic sleeping. I used to sleep only 4.5 hours. And now I try to get about 10 hours of sleep. I usually don't wake up till at least 9:30 unless I have to wake up early. My body is made, from what I've seen, my body is made to wake up later. I go to bed later and I wake up later, and it's always been that way. And I fought it because of the different productivity people out there, the different people that say you need to do things a certain way, and it's just simply not true. The more that you simply use your mind, simply think and imagine the way that you want to be, where you want to be, as if it already happened, the more you're going to see that you're going to get to that point. If you stick with it, just every day, and eventually you're going to get to the point where you're like, you don't even feel like doing that anymore. It's what Neville would call the Sabbath. You get to the point where your subconscious is like, dude, I got this. Don't even worry about it. Just let it go. It's happening. Don't even worry about it. That's the way it was for my house. That's the way it was for the revenue that came in. That's the way it was for some crazy, crazy things that I've imagined that have come true, where after a while I just stopped imagining them because I could feel it feels more like a chore eventually. And so you're like, oh, no, I'm good. And then you let it go and it actually happens. The more that you can start doing that and seeing that you are the operant power, you are the one who creates your world and your reality. And I mean that literally. The more peace you're going to have, because it's not what that guy did to you or that customer did to you. Like when my customers do me wrong, quote unquote, I've had customers do me wrong. I'm like, okay, I bless them, and I know that when money goes out, so one of my assumptions is if money goes out, it comes back 100 times. Anytime I lose money, it comes back 100 times. Where have I done somebody else wrong? That's what I start thinking is like, okay, they did this to me. Where have I done that to somebody else? Where have I tried to cheat somebody? Where have I tried to steal from somebody? Where have I tried to make an excuse? Oh yeah, no, that this part of the contract is actually means this, or I don't remember this or whatever. Where have I done that? And when, for me, in my mind, whether it's an expense or whether it's a bill or whether it's from the tax thing that I have to do, or whether it's paying for whatever money that goes out, that where I would have been like, oh, I can't believe they did that. They did that. They did that. They did this to me. They did that to me. No, it's like, okay, well, that money's coming back to me 100 times. So I'm all good. And the crazy thing is, it happens. The crazy thing is, the money comes back. It just does, because that's what I believe. That's what goes on in my mind. That's the movie that's playing in my mind. The movie that's playing in my mind is like is that I'm this guy who, when things go wrong, quote unquote, they turn out to be freaking amazing. That's where serendipity comes from. The word serendipity. It's the the three men from Serendip, where they just stumbled on, these unfortunate accidents would happen, but it ended up being like they would always get the best out of it. They would always like end up getting more. Okay. So when you have a mindset like that, what do you think is going to happen? Good things are going to happen. And yeah, of course, I'm going to lay a boundary. I'm going to say, hey, you broke a contract, or hey, you did this. You owe me this amount of money. And they come back. If they come back nasty, then we see what happens. Like, we go from there. No hard feelings. I'm not upset at you or whatever. But depending on, like, something is going to happen, whether it's through me or it's through, something higher. Something's going to happen, and it's going to benefit me, and it's going to benefit them too. Like, I never wish ill upon anybody. Okay. And then it's, when you start to change your mindset into a way where you realize that you are the one creating your reality, then it all depends. It's all determined by you. How much money you make, how well your business is doing, how many friends you have, how many, like, if you have a relationship, if you're married or not married, when you start realizing it's all you, that you're the one doing it, that the reason why you don't have money is because you have some kind of lack or limitation in your head about money, or in your heart or in your body about money, which I did for a long time. Once you start realizing that you can change that by simply imagining at night yourself having money, yourself at the house of your dreams, yourself at the golf course that you wanted, at the country club you wanted. And the more that you do that, the more that you start thinking in a positive light, the more that you're going to start reaping positive things. And I don't mean positive in the sense of like, oh, happy-go-lucky, happy. Like, I've imagined things where I'm like, this is so annoying that I have to go and go cash this check because it's so big that it's such a big check that I can't just go to the ATM and do it. I have to go into the branch. That's annoying. Like, that's imagining an annoying thing that's happening, but you're still putting that into your subconscious, and guess what? It happens. It's crazy. So really, I would suggest two things. One, go read Neville Goddard's Feeling is the Secret. Go put it on audiobook. You don't need to buy it. There's tons of free people reading it. Some use Neville's AI voice now. Feeling is a Secret. I think it's like an hour long. That's how short it is. If that, it might be even less. And start imagining one thing that you want to change. Just imagine it for the next 7 days. In the first person, not like as if you're watching TV. Imagine yourself actually doing the thing. Imagine yourself actually doing, being, having. Like, don't imagine yourself like the how. Let's say you wanted to be confident. Don't imagine yourself going to different places and practicing being confident. Imagine yourself sitting in confidence. Imagine yourself talking to that person you've always wanted to talk to and being confident in it. Or if you wanted a certain amount of money, what would imply that you had that certain amount of money? Maybe it's a car that you get into that's sitting in front of a garage of the new house that you bought because you made that amount of money. Okay. There is nothing that you are not allowed to imagine. You can imagine anything you want. And as soon as you give yourself permission to do that, as soon as you start imagining yourself doing the things that you want, that you've already, as if they have already happened. Like if you got that amount of money and you had that car, you had that house, and it's already been 2 years past the time that you got that amount of money, how would you feel about that car and house? Would you be like, yeah, oh my gosh, I love this. It's so awesome. I love this car. Oh, I love this house. No, it'd be 2 years past and you'd be like, this is second nature. Be like, okay, boom, I'm going to go to the store. You get in your car, you close the garage door behind you. You look in the rear of your mirror, you see the garage door closing behind you. That implies that it's been a while since you've already made that amount of money. And you imagine that for the next 7 days. Yeah. Is it going to happen in 7 days? No, but you're planting the seed. What I would do in the past, and I'm going to end it with this, is I would imagine myself getting free cups of coffee. And this has happened the last time I did a video on this. And as soon as I start saying it, I'll start getting free cups of coffee. But I would imagine myself getting free cups of coffee. And every time I did, it would be like 2 or 3 days would go by. Boom, I get a free cup of coffee. And then I would keep on imagining it, and I get another free cup of coffee, and they'd be crazy circumstances. Free cup of coffee, free cup of coffee, free cup of coffee. And then I'd stop. And what do you think would happen? No more free cups of coffee. And then I would talk about it on a video like this. I just saw 3333 on the thing. Crazy. I talk about it in a video like this, and lo and behold, I'd start getting free cups of coffee. And then I'd stop talking about it and thinking about it and imagining it. No free cups of coffee. That's an easy one that will imagine yourself getting $100. The next 7 days, imagine yourself, before you go to bed, imagine yourself holding $100, and then fold it up and put it in your pocket. Just right before you go to bed, just loop it so that as soon as you fall asleep, you're still thinking about that as soon as you're falling asleep. Next 7 days. And I want to hear what happens. So if you do that for the next 7 days, imagine $100 going in your pocket or something like that. Something small. Let's just try something small. I want to hear in the comments what happened. All right. All right, so this is Dean Soto. Go check out prosulum.com. If you want a virtual systems architect, you want to have a business that runs completely without you by creating standard operating procedures by having somebody who can do all these tasks at a fraction of the cost it would to hire somebody here in-house, go check out prosulum.com/schedule, and I'll see you in the next video.